Greetings, traveler! It is us, the Thralls of Metal, back again to bring thine yet another excellent album review. I am Master Shredlord.
And I'm Necrotic Nick.
And today we bring forth an album review from the kings of power metal, Helloween, with their 17th or 19th studio album, depending on who you ask. This is Giants and Monsters.
And scene, well done. This also comes on the 29th of August on Reigning Phoenix Music. This band formed in 1983, debatably as far back as 1978 with some of their earlier bands, namely Gentry. As I said, this is either their 17th or 19th album. I guess that depends if you're counting the cover albums or re-recordings. I don't know. I counted them all out on the archives, and I was like, fuck, there's a lot of them. Anyway, so, all right, most people know on the channel, I'm not a power metal guy. Not really at all. Like, you know, I love some Dio, you know, some early Iced Earth is kind of cool. For the most part, it is a bastion of cheese. For me, I know people love it, but since the last album, their self-titled album that came out in 2021, got so much hype, and I saw a lot of people that I really didn't have pegged as like big power metal fans go over it and say, man, this is really solid. I was like, all right, I'm kind of curious. So this one was coming out, and this is my legit first time sitting through and listening to an entire Helloween album. I've heard random tracks, you know, throughout the years, like mostly stuff from like Keeper of the Seven Keys, could be part one, could be part two. I don't know. I heard it and I was like, you know, it's got some riffs, but it's just never really clicked with me. So this was like kind of a chance to see if it actually did. And I mean, for those that don't know, this band has been like, you know, one of the biggest power metal bands out there. I would say, like, between them and like Blind Guardian, I would say those are probably like the two biggest German power metal bands out there. I mean, there's probably like another one in there that I don't listen to, but those are the two I think of. You know, Helloween, Blind Guardian, and, well, will I like it? That's the big question, and you're going to find out as we go on.
I have a little bit more of a power metal background, more so than probably any other Thralls. Being a kid that loved, you know, Dio and Deep Purple and Rainbow and stuff like that, I got into a period when I was younger, probably in my 20s, where I listened to stuff like Camelot, Evergrey, Nightwish, a little bit of Gamma Ray, that kind of stuff. And while I don't really listen to it much anymore, I definitely feel like I have a little bit of an understanding of where that genre comes from, even though it's really no longer kind of my bag anymore.
And I have listened to some stuff that I would argue is like power metal adjacent. Like, we really enjoyed the last Evergrey album. And, you know, this band's like Idle Throne, which I feel like kind of border on, you know, power metal / speed metal. But a lot of it feels more akin to either like power prog or US power metal, which is decidedly heavier than a lot of European power metal. And this is fiercely European. Like, this is about as European as it gets. Though, to this band's credit and this album's credit, I will say it isn't, you know, like the stereotypical stuff where you feel like it's all like double bass driven anthems with bright shimmering riffs and epic choruses. I mean, you do get epic choruses because this is, you know, power metal, but it's not Dragon Force. We'll go with that. It's not Dragon Force.
Yeah, it's not Dragon Force, but it definitely still has a lot of the main principles of power metal, where it is heavily focused on uplifting sounding music, uplifting sounding themes. There's many spots throughout this album that felt like it was on a screenplay for a movie or a theater performance.
A D&D fan film.
Maybe. So it was definitely in there.
I mean, right from the rip, the first two tracks on here, Giants on the Run and Savior of the World, I mean, they are bright, they are shimmering, they want to let you know that whatever it is, you can do it, and so can they. And, I mean, granted, it's got some good galloping riffs. The lead work on here is awesome. I think the production is really solid, too. And honestly, the vocals are really well done. You have 3 different vocalists, and I believe these guys are all from, like, different eras of the band. Michael Kiske, Kai Hansen, and, the other one that I didn't write down his full name. Darius.
That guy.
His last name is Darius, I'm sorry. But they combine for a lot of, like, big vocal harmonies. There's lots of big hooks in here. some lush synth passages, really nice atmosphere. Those first two songs are super uplifting, but in kind of like different ways. Giants on the Run is, yeah, maybe like a little bit power prog. Like there's some really cool transitions in it that are a little bit less standard, I would say. You have big, bright melodies, lots of, big harmonies and such in the guitars.
Montage music.
Music. I felt like I could do some things.
Did you know we're actually Giants on the Run? By the way, if you didn't know that, we're Giants on the Run.
They let you know. They repeat that chorus. And Savior of the World is, more along the lines of that like double bass driven like power metal where you have that driving D beat, some really good like kind of classic speed metal riffs, and the mother of all cheesy choruses. Like this chorus ascends Mount Cheese without a Sherpa because it knows the way up because it's been there 19 times before.
And it's not worried because the hot sun has melted the cheese so much that he's just going to slide down safely.
Oh yeah, he'll be fine.
Yeah, this song almost felt like an adult anime cartoon opening. It could have been. It could have been an anime theme song. However, it wasn't all like that. There are moments on this album, probably about 4 to 5 songs on here that really, instead of being the full go keyboard major chord progressions, kind of harks back to a more 80s, maybe a retro Ozzy, retro Def Leppard.
I heard it. A little is a little too much. This is Tokyo and Hand of God. Like these 3 songs in particular resonated with us, mainly because I grew up on 80s metal.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of stuff in here that reminds me like Judas Priest, Scorpions, and stuff like that. But this feels as though like the cheese is trimmed down, or at least it's a different flavor of cheese, and a cheese that I'm absolutely used to because I grew up watching like Judas Priest and like Rat videos on MTV. And there's something about the hooks on these songs in particular. They feel just like energetic rockers. They don't feel like they're trying to ascend while they're wearing shimmering knight's armor where if you look at it directly, the sun will just blind you with every fucking possible glint that comes off of it. This feels more like, leather jackets and teased hair and just songs that are about we need to rock. Like, that's it. Like, it's the most basic thing.
It's more anthem rock versus, like, anthem symphonic metal.
Yeah. Still has the keys, still has, like, the more major chord-driven stuff, but it switches around a little bit. Like, you have some, like, good, just flat-out chuggy riffs that are, like, a little bit more just like, all right, well, these are tough guy riffs. We're not wearing, like, billowing white shirts and pantaloons. We're wearing our leather jackets and, like, a fucking AC/DC shirt underneath it.
Now, the one thing this album did have chock full of is... One of the reasons that I liked power metal to begin with is I think Iron Maiden also has a little bit of tie-in to power metal as far as the epicness of the melodic lead guitars, like the dual harmonies and things. And this album had a lot of those good moments on here. Not only did they have great moments where the guitars would sync up and build this nice energetic overall like a structured melody or a section, but then they would also break into parts where it would just be an all-out lead solo, and both were excellent. When they decided to just kind of tear it up, they tore it up. When they needed to build a strong melody, to build a section, they did a great job of that. I think they are solid-ass musicians. We did think the guitars could come up a little bit, but that's... I hate griping on small production stuff unless it's egregious. It wasn't terribly egregious, but it could have used a little more.
There were some points where I felt like it was, maybe dialed down to make room for everything else. Like, this does have 3 vocalists on it. You do have keyboards, which the keyboards are not, like, super intrusive. In fact, they're often more in the background and just kind of complementing the melodies. But at points... like, especially in, like, the heavier moments on here where you get, like, some big biting riffs. Like Universe, Gravity for Hearts. This one has, like, some really solid, like, very thrashy, old-school speed metal riffs. They feel like, like there's some urgency to them. They're a little bit heavier. They drive the song. And, maybe just, like, a arguably slightly heavier tone, I feel like they kind of would have had, like, just, like, a little bit more body to them.
Yeah, it did end with a rock opera style ending, but... Yes. When they dig in, they dig in. When they give us riffs, that's when I found that I really found myself digging in more, where it was more riff driven as opposed to progression driven, where you're just kind of slamming the progression. And of course, in a lot of this kind of music, it's very much major, upbeat, kind of happy, which kind of goes against our natural asshole nature.
Yeah, like, I mean, when it comes down to, like, upbeat for me, like, it's mostly, like, shit like Hatebreed, where, you know, Jamie's just yelling positive affirmations and, like, you could fucking do this, but it sounds like he's threatening you. So I naturally responded, I was like, yeah, tell me I'm, not a piece of shit. Okay, I thought I was a piece of shit for a second, but you're telling me I can do it. Not be a piece of shit, I mean.
Yeah.
And as far as songwriting here, like, honestly, it's pretty damn good. Like, you know, the longer songs have more lavish transitions. Like, you can definitely tell, like, this isn't just, like, one note basic power metal. These guys are old pros. Universe, Gravity for Hearts, and the last track, Majestic, both over 8 minutes, both chock full of, like, really grand transitions, bordering arguably on, like, power prog, or at least, like, you know, an Iron Maiden size epic. Yeah, I really do like a lot of the songwriting on there. You get kind of like a mix of, like, everything they are. Like, you hear their heavier side, you hear their fiercely melodic side. And, you know, a lot of this, I will say, it kind of has, like, a give and take between, you know, being vocally driven or riff driven. Like, you know, there's definitely some songs in here that just really hang on to a solid riff and the vocals just kind of complement it. And there are songs in here where the vocals are clearly the main thing that just drive the song because they are constant. And again, you have 3 vocalists on here. And to their credit, the harmonies are pretty well done. They all have distinctly different voices. And, you know, I mean, for the most part, it does work. But in contrast to, like, the big lavish songs, some of the more straightforward ones are the ones that really hit. Like, Hand of God, I think, might be my favorite track on this.
I would agree.
Just a straight up old school kind of like later Ozzy sort of riffy banger.
But it had a strong melody that they stuck with, and its simple yet effective delivery really made it stand out.
Yeah, the chorus is, you know, essentially a refrain of the title, but they do it pretty cleverly. You get a really good contrast between the verse and the chorus. The verse, after it kind of introduces you to the main riff, which the main riff on there is a banger. It's got a good lead melody on top of it. But when it gets down to the verses, you get this, like, cleaner guitar. There's a bit of a delay on it. It's a little bit more atmospheric. And the vocals aren't trying to soar and just punch you in the face with all their throaty muscle. They're a little bit more restrained and a little bit more atmospheric. And I like that because it gives you a bit of a build into the chorus, because the chorus hits. And then there's a massive fucking solo on there that just absolutely rips. But the song itself is a little bit more stripped down in terms of its structure, and I feel like it's just kind of about a big hook, and I think it nails it.
You know, and I will say this, for an album that we were anticipating listening to and not really knowing what to expect, because this isn't really what we like to listen to, I enjoyed it more than I thought I would, to be honest with you. And to be truthful, there was only one song on this whole album that I could not wait until it was over. That would be the second to last track, Under the Moonlight. It's very much like this very croony, over-the-top show-tuney kind of vocal-driven song. And while I'm sure the vocal performance was nice, beautiful, whatever, if you're a fan of that, it was a little bit too over-the-top for me.
Yeah, for me, it felt like, I don't know, like a B-side off of, like, one of Queen's later albums. You know, it started off all right. Like, I didn't mind the verse, but man, the chorus just kind of misses on there. And there are some other songs in here where I feel like you had elements that really worked, and then it switched gears and kind of derailed the song. Like, We Can Be Gods. Right from the rip, you get, like, a really nice, aggressive, like, thrashy riff. DB gallops, and I was like, all right, that's pretty cool. It's got some Judas Priest energy to it. It kind of feels like, you know, Screaming for Vengeance-esque. I'm down for that all day. You know, the vocals come in, they're a little bit more aggressively delivered, of course, very tuneful. And then it just shifts gears to, again, like just a really cheesy chorus. It's too bright. It's too shimmery. It creates a contrast that I don't like. I kind of wanted a song that was going to be, like, a little bit tougher. And you can be tuneful and, you know, still be aggressive. It's just this one just went for the big power metal hook, and that chorus just kind of drove me nuts.
The only other track on there that was close in nature to that would be Into the Sun. It wasn't as bad as the other track, but I definitely didn't enjoy it as much. I felt like this song had a little bit more composition with the vocals. They kind of were a little more impressive, that they weaved in and out of each other and the harmonies and stuff. Same principle, you know, this whole self-motivation, singing yourself up kind of thing, but...
Yeah, I mean, it has, I would say, like, probably the most somber tone on the entire album. Like, it still feels very bright and shimmering. Like, it's a power ballad. True and true. It has, you know, parts that feel like a lamentation, like, oh, whoa, I screwed this up. I didn't roll a critical when I was supposed to kill the Goblin King and I don't know, that's something like that, whatever.
Nobody ever rolls a nat 20 anymore.
But, you know, for me, it just kind of felt like a very standard power ballad, and I'm not the biggest power ballad fan. And a lot of this, like, when it comes down to, like, the cheesiness factor, because power metal embraces cheese. They love it. The whole subgenre is built on being over the top. And, you know, I can appreciate that. But for me, when it comes down to, like, cheese that I like, it's generally like, you know, dumb action movies and B-horror movies. Like, it's that kind of stuff. And I kind of get that from, like, thrash, crossover, death metal. You know, that's the kind of cheesiness that I kind of gravitate to. Like, this feels, again, like a D&D fan film. And, hey, if you love that sort of thing, that's awesome. But, you know, for me, like, that sort of cheese kind of puts me off. But to this album's credit, most of this I thought was pretty damn listenable. And honestly, like, the music kind of rescues it from some of the more cheesy sections on here where I was like, that's too bright and happy for me. Like, what happened? Metal's supposed to be dark and evil all the time, right? That was what I was told. Maybe I got lied to. I probably did.
You probably did, yeah.
But for real, I don't think this was that bad. And I'm not saying, like, I'm going to become, like, a full-bore power metal fan, but this album might have, like, I don't know, lodged a foot in the door. Kind of kept it open a little bit. You know, I might actually jam more by this band after this. So overall, I'm going to give this 3 stars. And again, I'm not a big power metal guy, but I can see, like, why people really like this band. There's a lot of great melodies in here. There's a lot of great playing overall. Like, the guitar work in here is solid, drum work solid. All 3 vocalists sound really good, and this band has been around for a long fucking time. It could be production magic, but I don't know, like, part of me thinks that these guys have actually kept their vocal cords in really good shape, and, you know, for the most part, the melodies hit. When it gets too cheesy in terms of that power metal cheese, yeah, I am kind of taken out, but dude, legit, I like A Little Is a Little Bit Too Much, This Is Tokyo, Hand of God, Majestic. Like, there's really good songs. And even some of the songs that I didn't like entirely had moments where I was like, dude, that's really well done. So, yeah, I think this is pretty solid. I mean, if you're a longtime fan of, this band, Blind Guardian, Rhapsody, give me another one. Camelot, I'm going to steal one from you. There we go. If you like any of those bands, then, you know, definitely check this out.
My lords and my ladies, I'm going to give this 3 out of 5 wizard sleeves. Sorry, ladies. Yeah, this album actually was more enjoyable to listen to than I initially thought it was going to be. While there were the moments that I was not anticipating, such as the over-the-top and the overly upbeat and the overly show tune happy, those moments were there. However, there were so many other things thrown into the mix, such as good riffs, good song structure, good composition. I think for what this is pretty fucking solid. And once again, I kind of passed that phase a long time ago, but it does kind of make me want to go back and maybe listen to a couple old tracks just for shits and giggles, man, just to take me back to that place. So, yeah, this album was better than I anticipated, especially for what it is. Now, with power metal being such a small subgenre, but yet a passionate subgenre, please don't take anything I've said offensively. It's just, we're not normal people in these lands. We're strangers in this strange land, and we're just giving our opinions. So when we talk of the cheese, please don't hit us or lance us through the heart.
Oh, no, they're going to put us in stockades and throw rotten fruit at us.
Joke's on them, because if I eat that shit, the rotten fruit's gonna...
It's gonna turn into gas, and it's just gonna poison the town.
I thought I could revenge, but then really, if I'm in this, I would just shit my pants.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm hopefully not in the stockade right next to you.
But yeah, I digress. This was a very solid album, and I can't stress enough the fact that I did not expect this to be as listenable as it was.
I might actually check out that self-titled album from 2021. I don't know. Everyone talked that one up. Maybe that one's like the better version of this. I don't know. Either way, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to the channel, subscribe, because we do stuff like this all the time. We also have memberships. They were only 99 cents, and our lone perk is doing a members-only live stream, which we might actually have one possibly next weekend.
I'll even wear the Burger King crown on the stream, my lords and my ladies.
That's probably gonna happen. But memberships are the main way to support the channel, and there's a join button down there for you to strike mightily with your sword of mighty striking. I'm not good with naming swords, but yeah, click that button and you're all in.
You're a talker. Talkers make me thirsty. But last, and certainly not least, thank you guys, the fans. Each and every one of you taking the time out of your day to watch what us shitheads have to say, leaving your comments, participating in the premieres, all the interaction and all the love that you guys show us 24/7. We greatly appreciate it, and without you, this would all be for naught. So from the bottom of our cold, dead hearts, well, maybe they're a little bit brighter after this Helloween album. But anyway, thank you very much. We appreciate you guys so much. We love you, each and every one of you.
Yeah, you guys absolutely rule. Tons of content coming in the future. So one more big thank you, because you guys are, in fact, awesome as fuck. And we will catch you later.
I'll see you at the joust. Ha ha!